Mm, no. Right. All right. I think we are live. Hey everyone, Lori Swanson here. Welcome to the Career Alchemy broadcast, this live broadcast that comes to you almost every week, 52 weeks a year. Believe it or not, it's one of my favorite things that I get to do. And I'm thrilled if you are coming here for the first time and joining, wonderful. If you are listening to this as a recording, thank you. And always remember that you can reach out to me if you have a question or a topic or something that you want to, have me explore through this live broadcast. I'm always looking for, I want to make sure I'm giving you the information and the, you know, ideas and thoughts that are valuable that can help make a difference for you. So, my name, if you don't know me, if this is your first time, my name is Lori Swanson, and I am the CEO of Inspire Tech. I work with women in tech and product who are at a career crossroads and looking to create their path forward. I also am the founder of Career Alchemy Academy. Career Alchemy Academy is a membership community of wise women gathering every week to get coached by me and also to share their wisdom and explore um, ways in which we can continue to infuse, I would say, corporate culture, specifically looking for ways to change work culture so it works for everybody. So that's the little intro, and every week I come to you with a usually something based off the blog that I've written in my newsletter, and you can sign up for my newsletter at the website at the bottom of the page in the footer section of the homepage. There's look for inspirations in your inbox. You can sign up, and if you look in resources, that's another way to get to the sign up as well as being able to look at other career blogs that I've written over all these many, many years since 2016. I have been writing every week, I believe. Um, Almost maybe in the beginning of 2016, I wasn't quite, but pretty quickly I went to every week. So that's really amazing to me because believe me, I never thought that that would the years just pile up and you look around and you're like, oh my God, it's been that many years since I've been writing on a weekly basis. And when I started, I told myself, just write one a month, just one a month. And then pretty quickly, as I started, I think like sort of opening up that channel of ways in which ideas and thoughts and things I'd been working with, it was sort of like the floodgates open. It was like finally there's a place to take all of this and move it out of my brain and into another, channel, another avenue, which turned into the newsletter. And then my brain just keeps giving me ideas and things because I've considered like, is this too much? Should I do less? And I'm like, I don't know where I'd go with all my thoughts. So it's a perfect place to go. And now I have LinkedIn Live. So isn't this fun? So what I want to talk to you about today is something that I'm titling Eight Ways to Manage Multiple Priorities Without Losing Yourself in the Process. And it was, I always consider myself sort of the pragmatic, strategic career coach based on all of my 25 plus years helping people successfully navigate job search and as a recruiter, owning my own recruiting firm, and also beyond really setting themselves up for career success and negotiating powerfully on their own behalf, not only for their initial salary compensation packages, but projects and teams that they wanted to be on and future raises and promotions and things like that. But also a spirit-centered approach to the career. this thing we call our career, our form of service in the world. And so pragmatic, strategic, and spirit-centered approach. And what I'm going to talk about today is hitting on both sides of that. So you'll get a real clear sense of the practical, tactical, as well as the spirit-centered that is covered, inside of Career Alchemy Academy and just how I coach. So during the recent Career Alchemy Academy, one of the women wanted to get some coaching around. She just was feeling overwhelmed by her to-do list. And she said, I just want to kind of figure out a better way to manage this. It's creating stress for me, which I think we can all relate to, right? And so I shared some of the tools that I work with. Um, uh, and I'll talk about them in a little more detail. But one of them that I shared was, we worked with the mindset method as we got started with coaching her, and that's something that I am certified in through Brooke Castillo. And then we talked about the 3D strategy, which was inspired by another Martha Beck, who I also am certified through the Wayfinder coaching community, and I stay very connected to that. And my 3D strategy was inspired by something that she coached us in one of our coaching tools that we were taught. And then finally, what I call the 3 VIPs, and that was inspired by Greg McKeon. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The reason I was a couple minutes late is I wanted to pronounce his name right, and I kept looking, and I had McKean. And so, Greg, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but everyone should be reading your book, Essentialism. It's amazing. And one of my other coaches, Stacey Bayman, is the one that tipped me off on that book. And through that, I created what I call the 3 VIPs, which is essentially, again, it's not exactly what Greg teaches, but it's inspired by what he teaches in his book, Essentialism. So I was coaching around some of those things when what I love about Career Alchemy Academy happened. After we got through some of my coaching, we turned it over to the community, and the alchemists began pouring in their genius into how they're managing things. So I want to talk about these 8 ways. So get out your pen and paper, or just grab this blog, or re-listen to this recording afterwards. But they're all really cool. Some of them you probably are already using. Some of them you've forgotten about, and you're like, oh yeah, that. And some of them a little bit different. So number 1, make your accomplishments visible. So one of the alchemists, what she does is she puts up Post-it notes, and not just Post-it notes of the different tasks she has to do, but also she color codes those. So maybe it's a team thing, and maybe it's a report thing and is a different color, and maybe it's a meeting thing or a presentation thing. So she color codes those, and she puts them up for the day. And as she completes them, she pulls them off and saves them. And at the end of the week, she reads through them, because we often, part of this heaviness we feel from our to-do list, this overwhelm that people, that the woman, the alchemist had brought in for coaching in the first place, part of that just comes from, at the end of the day or at the end of the week, thinking about more that we have to do and completely forgetting what we've already done, acknowledging and appreciating that. And that's what that Post-it notes, that visible, like, look at these things, look what I did this week. Good job, me. So that was the first one, making the accomplishments visible. The second one that I wanted to talk to you about is letting good enough be good enough. So, perfectionism. This comes up a lot from my women leaders. You'd think, I guess it kind of surprised me, was confidence and perfectionism are 2 very common things that, so not feeling confident, right? And being a perfectionist are 2 very common things that women who accomplished women in careers who have, continue to rise in their career come up against. And you might think, oh, that you need confidence to get there. You just don't need confidence. And you don't even need to be perfect. So because it can be messy and you're still achieving and advancing and accomplishing things. And it could be, um, uh, you know, not, feeling scared and doing it anyways, right? So, in this one, number two, when we're talking about let good enough be good enough, we're speaking directly to perfectionism. So setting that aside and just simply calling something done. And if when you do that, you can ask yourself, if I called this done, what would I do with the time that I'm giving back to myself, right? Like if you can use that as motivation, what would you do if you called it done now? What would you do instead? That could be just giving yourself time to get a cup of tea. That could be shutting your laptop and going to spend final, good nights with your kids. There's so many things if you just call it done. And letting what you can do instead be a motivation to calling it done. Because sometimes done really is better than perfect. Let that one sink in, right? It really is better than perfect. So that's number two. Number three, using the 3 Ds. So I mentioned this at the top of the broadcast here. This was inspired through a tool that I learned in my coaching certification with Martha Beck, which if you're considering becoming a coach, career wayfinding is, or I call myself a career wayfinder, but it's just wayfinding coaching or wayfinding coaching certification program that Martha Beck Institute puts on. You should definitely do that. And I have 2 coaching certifications, and both of them made sense for me. But if you are like me and have this, strong sort of spirit-centered side to you, this is the coaching program for you. So just a quick commercial for Martha because I'm such a fan. But anyway, so this was the 3 Ds, which I say are ditch it, delegate it, or do it joyfully. So before you automatically just add something already to your long to-do list, before you do that, ask yourself, do I have to do this or can I just ditch it altogether? Because sometimes we add things on our lists that are sort of like nice, but we don't need to do them. So just ditch it. If you can ditch it, ditch it. If you realize that you can't ditch it, then see if there's a way to delegate it, especially inside your, career, and for your family. I mean, the more that you can delegate to other people, not only does it free you up, but it also gives them opportunities to learn and grow, for your team or for your kids or, okay, the husband, okay, your partner, don't have to take it all on. Look for ways that you can delegate something. So, but if you cannot ditch it and there really isn't a way that you can delegate it, though be creative when you start to think about, I could delegate this to this person on my team, but they're not quite ready yet, then make that part of their, career development plan and, so that you can hand off some of those things. So future planning for future delegation. And then the third part of the 3 Ds is if you know that you can't ditch it or delegate it, accept that it is yours to do and then find ways to make it joyful. Play music, change your location and go somewhere else where you can do the task. Like get your favorite beverage. Create a reward board where, as you do these things that are yours to do, but aren't necessarily, because we all have things that we really are ours to do that aren't necessarily the most fun, but finding ways to infuse some joy and entertainment and fun into it can make whatever task we have that much easier. And I found um, that it actually became something I was looking forward to because I had there's something I do, payroll. So payroll for my team, right? And I've talked about this before, but it's been a long time. But yes, and I use this 3Ds method, and I can't not do payroll. They want to get paid. I can't delegate it to someone else. That's my choice. Like I've had at different times, I've had other, outside companies and things, but the team is smaller now, and so it really doesn't pay for me to delegate it. And I just I do as much work delegating it to someone else as I do just doing it myself. And so that's and so that's why I've decided that if I'm going to accept it as my own to do, then I'm going to make sure that I'm having lots of fun doing it. And so now I found a day that worked really well for me. I give myself a reward for doing it. I go to Starbucks, I grab a coffee, and I know I'm going to sit down at my desk to do this. And I will say I am looking forward to it now. It is something that I do not um, feel, resentful. And that's really what you want to do with those things that are yours to do or that you decide are yours to do. So that was number 3. Number 4, remember Ohio. So this was like a blast from the past when one of the alchemists brought this up. So Ohio acronym, only handle it once. You remember this? This was a big thing at one point. Everyone was talking about it. And the reason they were talking about it and implementing it is because it was effective in a lot of ways. So, sometimes the oldies are the goodies that we need to keep working with. A good example of this is an email comes in and you think I'll get back to that later, and then 3 days go by and it's like running around in your brain, like got to go back to that email, got to go back to that email, or you completely forget about it altogether. It's like, oh my gosh, and until something happens, right? And so with Ohio, when possible, in the moment, you decide what you're going to do. You either execute on it, or I have like a parking lot where I put things that at the end of the day, it's especially for emails, it's a folder, and I just park them in there, and then at the end of the day, I go back in because I don't necessarily want to handle it exactly in the moment, but I want to make sure it gets handled by the end of the day, and I don't want to forget about it. And then I have other strategies around stuff like that too. So that's you just, decide in the moment what you're going to do. You either execute on it, you schedule it for a different time, you implement the 3Ds. If you can ditch it, delete it, right? If you can forward it to someone else and delegate it to them as in a way that completely makes sense for their roles and stuff, do that. And if you do decide that you're going to do it, then figure out when you're going to do it, scheduling it, and infuse that joy and fun into it. See how I did that? The 3Ds. Now, number 5, choosing your 3 daily VIPs. So this comes from the book Essentialism by Greg McKeown or McCone. And it's one of my all-time favorite tools. We focus on it every month at the start of a new month. And I implement it myself with a Post-it note like this, where I have the 3 VIPs on here. And I even wrote 3 VIPs. So what are the 3 VIPs? I have blogged about it, so you can go, and if you go to this blog inside of career blogs on the resources page on my website, there's a link to when I talk in more detail about the 3 VIPs, but essentially it's just every day. Having a 3 daily VIPs can really reduce the overwhelm and pressure that people that you might feel from having this long to-do list to manage. Both conflicting priorities, right? But then just lots of them. So with the 3 daily VIPs, you just ask yourself, what are the 3 things I need to do by the end of today? If I were to accomplish them, I would feel satisfied and accomplished, productive about my day. and you do that every day, day in, day out. Um, and there's a real magic to that process because sometimes you uncover in your three VIPs, there's some that you're, and three, I use that number loosely. It might be four, you might have personal and professional VIPs, but what does happen is something when you just ask yourself that question, the answer that comes to mind are going to be ones that you expected. Finish that report, for example, but then there might be a surprise. And with that, you can you will immediately feel maybe it's just schedule that doctor's appointment, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh, yes, that's one of those squirrely thoughts I've been running around, taking up space and feeling, adding pressure to me. Let's just do it. And it's simple, fast, and done. So that's number 5. Number 6, let technology help. So when things start to feel out of control, technology can really help you with your priorities. So you can like get them out of your head and into a system of some sort. So we talked about the post-it notes. That's one of them, but there's also that's a manual sort of way to move things from your head onto paper. The 3 VIPs, the same way. I write them on a post-it note. But then automating things. So there are some tools that were mentioned during the Career Alchemy session, including your favorite AI tools, but Sunsama, Motion, Reclaim, Todoist, and there's many more. I'd love to hear your thoughts about how you, not just around tools though, just how you help manage your priorities when they're starting to feel the overwhelm creep in. But from tools as well as manual processes, as well as tips and tricks. So always just throw your comments in below here. The right tool won't magically solve everything, but it can help create that breathing room you need so that you can be more clear, more calm, and then decide what's next. Number 7, the big one, the big tool is managing your mind, stewarding your emotions. And we do that with the mindset method that, again, I was certified in. It's based off of cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's out there all over the place. But believe me, there's all kinds of great things out there that we just don't use. And I am like always going back to our thoughts are creating our results. If we're not happy with our results, then take a look at our thoughts. And the feelings that we're having have a thought behind them. And so finding out those thoughts and then looking for and exploring ways to come up with new thoughts that have us feeling the way that are, more aligned with the results we want, like magic. And so, and it's probably been one of the most powerful tools that I use. It started with Byron Katie's The Work, and then the way Brooke Castillo teaches it through her certification. And now I kind of, again, have a little amalgamation of those that I use. And it's just the most important thing I think that I've learned through all my therapy, through all my personal and spiritual growth work. This tool is the one. So join us inside of Career Alchemy Academy and make it a tool that you use without even thinking about it anymore, learning how to do it. But it's essentially, looking at what's happening in your mind, where you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, or convinced that you'll never get everything done. And recognizing that sometimes the problem isn't just that you have too much to do. Sometimes the problem is that everything your brain is telling you about what you have to do, right? So a thought might be, I'll never get this all done. And you can simply change it to, I have the capacity and the capability to decide what matters and then do what is required. So I shifted the thought, and you can tell how your emotions shift when you do that. And so you begin to feel calmer in the process. Your to-do list doesn't go away, but you're feeling calmer and more empowered. And that's what mindset work does for you. And then number 8, the other big one besides mindset is what learning to trust your inner wise self. So, um, you know, this is, the spirit-centered side of what I teach and coach around, and also how I live my life. Because if you're anything like me, when you have a decision, to a bigger, especially big decisions, but sometimes small decisions, we first go out to our friends and family, or maybe a boss, or some sort of expert in the field, or a book, or a podcast, or AI. AI is coaching all of us these days, and so we look outside of ourselves first for the answer. And I'm you know, and I love all of that stuff. Um, but the beginning of this year, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to start first here. And I'd been doing it, but, for years, but it was more kind of the last, I don't want to say last resort, but sort of like I would do all this stuff externally first, gather all that. And then if I still was feeling unsettled or unsure, then I would tune in, right? And now I'm like, that's where I go first. And it's amazing. I just can't, you have to try it. I just can't say, but there's something powerful and magical that happens when I tune into my inner wisdom. When you will tune into your inner wisdom, you will experience this. And the more you practice it, it's like you're building this trust with your higher self, that inner wisdom. And then, um, you're going to start to receive more guidance. It'll be more clear, less foggy. Like sometimes why it was last resort for me is it never felt as clear as I had hoped. And it is more of a whisper sometimes. But as I get to like know that voice and have a relationship with that voice, it becomes clearer and more, it's like it's more confident because my inner voice, my expanded self, whatever you want to call that, is like, oh, now now you're trusting me. Now I trust that you're going to take what I offer and act on it. There's more confidence there. And when you have confidence, you feel more powerful and you speak more clearly, right? And all of that. So you might start, if you're not sure where to start, just to ask yourself, what do I already know? And then listen about whatever you're making a decision on, or what feels most important right now. What do I need? What is mine to do next? These are all kind of prompters to your inner wisdom that can help create answers. But again, it's about listening, and you'll start to notice the difference between kind of the spiritual guidance that comes in through your expanded higher self, um, inner voice, and your brain offering up ideas. You'll start to notice the difference in that, and you can tell your brain to just relax and take a back seat while you tune in more. And that becomes a practice, right? So unlike any other productivity system, AI tool, or expert, your spiritual intelligence, this relationship that you have with your inner voice, your um, spiritual board of advisors, your spiritual guidance system, whatever you want to call it, expanded self, soul, uh, guardian angels, like all of this is always available to you. You don't have to have a computer or a phone, or be at the library, or you know go find your partner or your best friend. You have it within you, and that's always with you, always available. And that if there's no other reason to create a relationship with this part of yourself, that's it, right? So wisdom from the trenches, 8 different things. Um, what came out of that coaching call with the alchemists was such immense value for them, for me, and hopefully now for you. And it's what happens when women come together, women and, regularly sharing what works for them, offering support, offering just simple, like, we're here with you, not answers, not always answers, not always next steps, but sometimes just um, a soft landing, right? A place to be together to help create more peace and also productivity in careers and lives. That's what came out of that call. Was I really saw it that day, like this is why we're doing this. And it's not always in a way that seems logical. It can require making a decision and then finding the courage to do something different than you've done before. Um, it's that power of the practical plus the tactical plus the strategic coming together with the spirit centered approach. Um, and then you're unstoppable. It's like, you know, life it's like everything gels in that point. So that is it. So I just urge you to become an alchemist. It's the best place to be. And if you've been experiencing overwhelm and trying to, figure out how to attach that all of those conflicting and uh, continuing to add up to-dos. Take a look at these 8 ways, rewatch this, pick one of them, and just try it. And see if you can create a little bit more space, a little bit more calm. That's what we're going for. And when we're in a more calm place, if that's the energy we're bringing into anything, into the next meeting, into the next relationship, into a project, into scheduling a phone call, talking to the airport clerk, any of those things. The more we bring that energy in, like starting with ourselves, and we create it for others, so it ripples. So that's an alchemist practice for sure. So peace to all of you. And I'll be here next week, same day, same time, Wednesday, 9 a.m. And then we are adjusting by an hour, moving it up to 10 a.m. Central Time going forward. I tried 9 out in 9 o'clock. For August, it was an experiment I'm not loving. So we're moving it to 10 o'clock on Wednesdays, starting September 9th. That's it. Talk to you all soon. Oh, no. Starting the week after the 9th. So I guess that's the 16th. Honestly, get on my email list and you'll know all the times. Because I think actually it's 10 o'clock next week and then it goes to 9 and then we're 10 from then on out. That's it. Talk to you soon. Oh my gosh. That's so funny, Ines.